This episode of the Flush Podcast is brought to you by North Dakota Tourism, Federal Premium Ammunition, Onyx Hunt, Chief Upland, Huron, South Dakota, and by Grain Belt Premium Beer. Today I'm talking with Bill Sherck, co-host of the Flush television show. Bill just returned from a grouse hunt on Minnesota's North Shore. We'll talk about his successful trip. Plus, we'll dig into his hunting history north of the U.S. border, talk about a few of his favorite adventures, and his upcoming snipe hunt. Yep, you heard that right. A real-life snipe hunt.
The Flush. So fast, it hardly seems real. So vivid, the moment freezes in time before erupting in a blur of spurs and feathers. It's why we changed the way Upland loads are built with Prairie Storm. Exclusive flight control flex wad technology and a mix of copper-plated lead and flight stopper pellets combine to create dense, deadly shot streams through any choke. Longer shots, more power, fewer missed birds. Only from Federal.
If you're looking for a great bird hunting destination this season, then I strongly recommend that you consider one of my favorite places to hunt. That's North Dakota. North Dakota is a bird hunting paradise. You can hunt waterfowl and upland birds all in the same day. Ducks and geese in the morning, pheasant, sharp-tailed grouse, and Hungarian partridge in the afternoon, or vice versa. North Dakota has a population estimate of 2.9 million breeding ducks, which is 19% above the long-term average, and their prairie pothole region is smack dab in the middle of the Central Flyway. This year's drought has had an impact on North Dakota's landscape and their bird populations, but there are still regions in the state that have seen an increase in numbers this season. Yep, you heard that right. With a little scouting, you just might find yourself in the field surrounded by wild fleshing birds, creating memories that will last you a lifetime. North Dakota has approximately 800,000 acres of private land open to public walk-in hunting. For the latest plots guide, visit the North Dakota Game and Fish Department. Bag your limit this fall in North Dakota. Visit legendarynd.com to start planning your hunting adventure today.
The wild is calling. Answer your thirst for adventure with Grain Belt Premium Beer. Bring the Grain Belt to the outdoors with their limited edition premium hunting season pack. It's available anywhere you can find premium 12-pack cans of Grain Belt.
Welcome to another episode of the Flush Podcast. I'm Travis Frank. I'm your host. Brandon Morton is our producer. Without him, I'm just a guy that loves to hunt birds and misses a lot of shots. But hey, at least I take a lot of shots. Sitting across from me is Bill Sherck, the man about the woods, one of 4 co-hosts of our television show, The Flush. Bill, there's an old saying that you miss every shot that you don't take, so that's why I shoot a lot. But that's also the first thing people tell me when they see me. It happened this morning. I walked into a store and somebody was saying, "Hey, I just watched one of your episodes. You need to work on your shooting." And I tell them, I did that for you because it makes you feel better about yourself to see me miss plenty of shots.
There's a cliche in this world called Monday quarterbacking, right?
Yeah.
Couch quarterbacks. I have talked to dozens upon dozens of people in the world who never miss.
Yeah.
Right? And you're an easy target, no pun intended, because you're on television. Get thick skin, right? Because every one of those people is so full of complete you know what? Because everyone misses. Yeah. That's what hunting is about. Yeah. And that's why I think our show is a little bit more precious in this world because
relatable.
We don't make it up. We just tell it real. Like it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you miss. You know what? That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I bet those same people got 100% on all of their tests when they were growing up too.
Yeah. No, I always laugh when people bring that up because they do enjoy it. It seems to make them feel good and they enjoy it and they remember it. And it is such a common topic, and I learned from Ron that it's okay, and I give Ron grief all the time because he's always missing. You're a pretty good shot, though. What's your average?
My average?
Yeah.
On like trap or sporting clays kind of thing,
or wild bird flushing in the woods.
It depends if it's got a string tied around its leg, right? I mean, last week we were grouse hunting, and I felt like I shot pretty well.
Yeah.
a year ago, I was on a hunt and couldn't miss, right? But then 2 days later, you can't hit anything. That's just
depends on the day.
That's just how it goes, right?
Yeah.
And I want you to steal my line. We also get people emailing us, viewers who are just upset. How dare you host a show and you miss that bird, such a simple, crossing shot.
What a bad example you're setting.
Yes, my response is one sentence. Bless your hearts. Best wishes, Billy Sherck. Right? Give me a break.
Right. Yeah. How long have you been with Ron Share Productions? How many years?
We have an abacus in here, so I'm going to need it to start counting. It's crazy.
Take your shoes off so you can use your toes.
Exactly. It's crazy. I started in 2003.
Okay.
I have this weird kind of barrier, this wall in the middle of my career. Up to that point, I was a television news guy. Loved telling award-winning stories, but hated the stories I was telling. So I left television news, thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Believe it or not, I almost took a PR marketing job with Buca de Beppo.
Oh, yeah?
Talking about canned tomato sauce and,
I could see you fitting
tough
in
pasta.
that.
Yeah, no. And I just thought, what is my life coming to? And then took this job in outdoor journalism and have been doing it ever since. So what is that, 19 some years?
And we produce The Flush, obviously, television show, but several others. I think we have 7 right now in our production studio, and you work on 5 of them?
Yeah, 4 or 5 of them. It's funny,
kinda...
we went back not long ago and counted. In those 19 years, I have worked on 14 different television shows.
What's been your favorite? Do you have one?
Oh, The Flush, for sure.
Yeah?
Right? No, it is. Aww. In some ways, for us, it's a little bit less about the individual show, I think, and more about the process.
The stories.
I know it sounds thick, right? But I love telling stories. You love telling stories. This world is made up of people, and we go out and meet them. Back in the news days, I had to convince people on a darn near daily basis who were having some of the worst days of their lives that they needed to talk to me and give me 10 minutes, right? This is just the opposite.
People are excited
when
to talk to you.
we show up, they are so excited, and it is such a big deal. I had a mentor a long time ago say, every time you show up with a television camera, true or perceived, whatever, that is one of the biggest days for the people you're with. Don't ever take advantage of that. Don't take that for granted. And at the time, I was a young little punk listening to his advice, like, whatever. But so poignant. It is a big deal.
It's true. I've been on the other side of that too, and I can tell you that's a true thing, because in that moment, that is one of the things that you get to share something that you're so passionate about. And I always tell our cameramen too, when we're out in the field, that they say, "Hey, I think I got what we need," and I say, "You know what? We got to stay a little bit longer, because this person here has put everything they have into this day, and they haven't shown us the full potential. They haven't shown, whether it's a hunting trip and they know that something great could be up here. We got to go that extra half mile or that extra mile, or fishing, or we just need to stick it out, because they want to show what they can produce, and I want to give them the opportunity to produce that. Yep. So stick with me here for a little bit, because I know what's going through their mind. I've been there, and
it's a powerful thing, and it's an important job, and I'm so appreciative that we get to do it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And there's stress with that too. You want to get their story right, or at least have it be accurate, right? You can't write about apples if you're documenting oranges. We just go and shoot and watch hunts unfold for the Flush and try to document them as best we can, and then just tell it like it was.
Yeah. Well, even last week too. I mean, this horse, and leading up to this trip, the guy was texting me about, just prepping you for this horse, and nickname is Fireball, and really, and I think probably, we talked about this on last week's podcast too. The things that went into that horse's mindset, my mindset beforehand, but Ben was rolling. I mean, Ben was our cameraman on that shoot, and horse didn't want me on top of that, and
No.
didn't keep me in the saddle for very long. But I think that's part of the journey because I powered through. And he goes, "Man, I can't believe you got back up. Most people wouldn't have done that." And I didn't think twice because, like, hey, I'm here for the week and we've got to make a TV show. So it is what it is. I'm getting back on the horse.
My horse these days is named Polaris.
Yeah. Right.
I've only been on horses a couple times in my life. I had a situation a little bit like yours. We were in the Uintas Mountains going up to 12,000 feet, and we're on that shale, and I'm riding this horse where you look off to the right side.
No. I ain't doing that.
You've hiked it,
Yeah,
right?
I know. I was just there a couple weeks
And
ago, and I
you're
was thinking
looking
about
down.
that. There's no way I'd ride a horse on that.
And it's 2,500 feet down
Yeah.
to where that thing stops, and the horse is snorting stuff out its nose and fire, and it's kicking. You know, the horse in front is kicking out, and I'm just thinking, oh my God, you know what that horse's name was?
What?
It had, honest to God, it had blood of the devil running through its veins, right? And I'm just white knuckle holding on, and this horse is angry. And the cowboy says, "My daughter named that horse Rainbow Sparkles."
Rainbow sparkles.
But they just have this fire in them, and they can sense fear, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, you're still here today.
And you are, too.
Yeah, and I am here as well. We've both been on some incredible journeys all over the country, and you've been all over the world for this show. We used to produce Monster Quest. You've been on some pretty wild adventures, and I know we could really get sidetracked here, and we'll get to our grouse hunting conversation and snipe hunting, but where has been, of all the places, all the TV shows, Monster Quest for the History Channel, you produced that, right? You were on some of those?
Is anyone listening to us, or can I be honest with you? So I wanted to stay, yes. Monster Quest was a huge project for our little production company. Back when the economy went to pot, all of a sudden we had this giant project in front of us. But again, what you and I just talked about, we like documenting stories. We like documenting reality. And reality was kind of where Monster Quest was where reality met science fiction, right?
Yeah. Didn't Ron used to call it where reality met bullshit?
Yeah,
I think that's what he said.
And to a point, I didn't really want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Right? I wanted to document
Real stories.
flush type stories.
Yeah.
So I kind of stayed out of that project right until the end.
Mm-hmm.
I think our company produced like 15 or 18 of those episodes, and I got the very last one. In my heart,
No
I
wonder
always,
it didn't last then.
Yeah,
You killed
exactly.
it. You killed it.
just like the piranhas we were documenting, right? And they
Man-eating
came to me and
piranhas?
said, "We need you to go after piranhas."
Yeah.
And I said, "All right, they're a thing, right?" So we were going down to Suriname, way up in the Amazon on these remote rivers to document these piranhas in these villages where people bathe and do laundry and they get attacked by piranhas. Like, I can live with that.
Because that's really happening.
Yes. But then I get like 4 days into the project and the spin from the producers in Hollywood is they're taking over the United States. Lake of the Ozarks is overwhelmed by piranhas, meat-eating piranhas. And you go, what? Excuse me? And the whole premise was, at that point, and this was, I don't know, 2008, pick your date, the state had documented like 11 piranhas in Lake of the Ozarks being caught. And I might not have my facts straight here, but at the time, Lake of the Ozarks had more coastline or shoreline than the entire state of California. And if you think about it rationally as a human, there are a lot of people who have piranhas as pets. And they feed them goldfish and minnows and all this. And after 4 or 5 years, these things grow. Timmy grows up, doesn't want to pet fish anymore. Families don't have the guts to put these fish into the garden.
Yeah.
So what do?
Let him go.
They walk them down to the local park, local boat launch, and they release them. All those piranhas caught.
So they can see they can keep their kids happy and say we didn't kill your pet.
My piranha rainbow sparkles is going to live on, and all those fish in Lake of the Ozarks happen to be caught very near parks and boat launches. But I digress.
Yeah.
So we had to do this episode on that, and we're in Suriname, way up in the jungle, sleeping in jungle hammocks with these drug lord boats. Honest to gosh, there was like a 30-foot Bayliner cabin cruiser that pulled into this village with a 50 caliber machine gun mounted on the front of it. Yeah. And Aaron Ochtenberg and I are sleeping in the woods. And I'll never forget, it was hard to sleep that night, but that boat, they were partying on that boat. And you could just hear the muffler in the water going bluck, 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 bluck. And I just remember having these crazy dreams about people coming after me with machetes and all. It just, yeah. So we go all over the place.
There's been some horror stories that came out of that.
We go all over the place, but we never did find piranhas taking over Lake of the Ozarks. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness for that. Before The Flush was the TV show was named The Flush. It was Pheasants Forever Television. So you started working on that show basically from the get-go, right?
From its inception, yeah. Pheasants Forever Television was a partnership between Pheasants Forever and Ron Sherck Productions. We wanted to share their stories. It is an organization we're both part of, very passionate about, as are all the members. And there are all these great rehab stories, great character stories. So very much like our regional show, Minnesota Bound, we wanted to tell those stories in, little 4-minute segments. Mm-hmm. And that show did really well.
Yep.
Really well.
Eventually, I think we're on season 8, though, of The Flush now. Mm-hmm. Eventually, the direction changed from conservation-minded stories, habitat projects, to adventure upland bird hunts. And that's where we are today.
And it was based on research, market research that Pheasants Forever had done. Joe Dugan's going to kill me for this, but we were sitting in this conference room.
Yep.
Talking about the future of Pheasants Forever television. And the marketing had shown, or the research had shown, Pheasants Forever members each year were getting older.
Approximately 1 year older.
1 year older. Yeah. I went, damnedest thing, right? Yeah. How did that happen? But they wanted a younger show, a show that would appeal to the younger audience. So it needed to be less about waxing about sunrise and, golden blue stem on the prairie, fall day. It needed to be more aggressive, showing really cool hunts, chucker hunts, climbing, get out on the edge and show people how upland hunters do it.
Public lands is a big angle, too.
And it was funny because Joe Dugan was in this meeting. He goes, wait. I got it. I have the title for the new show. We'll call it The Pheasant Country Traveler. And I looked at Joe, I went, that's what you've got right now. Stop. We're going to change the show, and it became The Flush, and the rest is television history, I suppose.
Yeah, and back then it was you and Ron producing, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I was, right, you were lucky enough to step into the role as the
bringing
main
this
host
young
of the
stallion, Travis Frank, into the fold.
Travis, your nickname, Rainbow Sparkles, you big stallion. But yeah, at that time, it was, a lot of episodes in the fall, nonstop travel.
Yeah.
Picking all these crazy destinations. Some not so crazy, I guess. But right, chucker hunting, chasing grouse in remote spots, hunting in blizzards on top of mountains, just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the magic of the upland world.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at a couple of your favorites, maybe. Do you have one that stands out? I know you mentioned chucker hunting Hell's Canyon pretty regularly as something, and you've been, all over the country. What would you say would be your favorite after all these years?
There are all kinds that stand out. Every story is profound, right? Every person we meet. But Hell's Canyon...
I know you've never told the bad one, but you got to pick. Let's pick one.
Yeah, Hell's Canyon was amazing.
Yeah.
We were camped out with a couple of elk hunters. We were, doing 1,500 in elevation before 9 a.m., and the elk hunters would call us, and they'd be up almost 3,000. Little specks above us. And you go, geez, mountain goats they are. Not us Midwestern flatlanders, right?
Yep.
But that was amazing. I can remember it struck me at one point what we were accomplishing. First, I went through a pair of brand new Red Wing boots in 2 days on that hunt. But we were up at elevation in the shale. We had birds. And I remember looking back towards the river, and here was an airplane. It was a Cessna, and it was flying like 1,000 feet below us down the gorge. And we had started down below where that airplane was going to land. I just remember thinking, whoa, that's amazing. But we get a lot of feedback on that. The other one that just seems pretty timeless, that the emails never stop. In fact, there's a guy going this week, is Chamberlain, South Dakota, the river. We camped on the river, Army Corps of Engineer land. It's all public on both sides. So if you camp and take a boat, you can access all this stuff, public land.
I would agree with
kind
that.
of landlocked.
I think that's probably one of the most emailed shows that you've done. And I got one last week as well from somebody that wants to go there. And they always say, can you tell me where they went? And I say, for the resource and for anybody else, I'll tell you that there's a lot of Army Corps of Engineer land out there, and it might not look the same way that it did when we filmed there. So it might be old news. It might not be good information. And the reality is you should want to go out and try to find something cool on your own.
Yes, but I will tell you, every person I have sent emails or calls back and says, oh my gosh, it was unbelievable. It was crazy. Both parts of the story. Yes, there are a pile of birds and that river mud is awful. Yeah. I literally trashed my boat with the river mud the first time we went. Marine carpet, and the sticky,
sludge.
silty, nasty sludge. It took weeks to get that out of the boat. So if you go, get a boat that's either just plain old aluminum,
an old hunting rig that you don't mind getting muddy,
or make sure you have a bunch of carpet squares that you can stack in, because it's all going to get trashed.
Yep. I did one in North Dakota, similar, and it's the same sludge up there on the Missouri as it is in South Dakota, and there are birds, and it's worth it. And you're going to get muddy, and you're going to have a good time, and you're going to see porcupines and probably a skunk or two. Yeah, they're all in there as well. But again, it's part of the adventure, and there's some other places too. I mean, in Montana, there's a hunt I want to do on one of the rivers there as well, and the list goes on and on and on and on.
Yes. It just takes work to get there.
Yeah, exactly. And we do a lot of research on the front end before we decide to go on a trip. And so our files are pretty thick with story ideas.
Yes.
Some of them don't always pan out the way that we want them to, though. Do you have any that you would say, oh man, if I could take one or two back, what would they be?
Out of 19 years of gathering television, we've only had one story that did not work out. And it actually happened to be a bird hunt. I feel awful telling this story, but we went down to Waseca. There was a blind pointer. There was an amazing little hunting dog. Watch the blind dog hunt. And the family had sent us videos. And so I felt like we had our ducks covered. We had talked to people. We got down there, and that poor little dog was bumping into every fence post, every corn stalk. You know, it had that lazy eye thing going, and we felt awful, right?
Yeah.
But there was just no way to visually tell that story without people just kind of going, oh, boy. So at lunchtime, we just politely said, hey, we tried. The dog is wonderful. Make sure it has a great hunting life. We're out.
Yeah.
That is the only story that I can think of that didn't pan out.
How about the birdiest place you've ever hunted? I'm going to guess Idaho.
Yeah, it's hard. We've been a lot of birdie spots, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Douglas County last year, we averaged 50 flushes in a morning, right, for grouse and woodcock. That's amazing. But Idaho, going out to Idaho with Brad Heidel and Joe Dugan and our buddy out there, Pat, the realtor. And we'd flush 1,800 birds in a day.
That's insane.
And all they do at the end of the day is sit over their glasses of whiskey and cry and apologize to us how foul the hunting was.
What?
It should have been 3,000 birds. Normally it's 5,000 birds.
Oh, jeepers.
Right. Idaho is amazing. We got to hunt on Huey Lewis's ranch. And the pheasant numbers were good, but my gosh, the quail numbers in Idaho. And people in Idaho, they don't really hunt the quail. They just ignore them. They forget about them.
That's crazy. What do they go for then? They want the pheasants.
They want pheasants. And you walk, stretches and you put up, it's almost like Minnesota hunting where you put up a few birds here and there, but you're not going to go out and see 200 pheasants in a day. And they just ignore the quail.
So one thing that you have done for many, many years, and this is not just the flush, but it's also some of our other shows, is camping has always been a big part of your life and your adventures.
Yeah.
And you've made that a lot of the TV shows as well.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Why is that such a big deal for you?
Well, gosh, it's a family thing, right? I grew up with it. The Sherck family had a place on the Ottawa River even before I was around in a logging town called Fort Calange or Calange, as the French say it. But my grandfather would fly his float plane back into the cabin, and they'd go out into the bush and they'd camp, and they'd get stuck across the river in the old days because weather would kick up. So they'd have to, set up a oil-soaked canvas poncho and just do their thing. And so as a kid,
Were they grouse hunting then?
They were
Moose?
chasing smallies and walleyes in
Oh,
the
really?
river.
Gotcha.
But they'd get out across and couldn't get back home. And, those stories were always larger than life. I was a scout growing up, right? Got my Eagle Scout done by the time I was 16 so I could have 2 really good years of scouts to just enjoy the trips. Phil Zietlow was our scoutmaster in Medina, Minnesota, and he's a famous guy with General Mills. He's the guy who came up with gluten-free Cheerios and was part of Honey Nut Cheerios and all that stuff. But it wasn't about uniforms. It wasn't about helping old ladies across the road. It was about being in the woods, getting dirty, learning bushcraft skills, learning all of that. So at a young age, camping for me was not some casual weekend thing at State Park Site 227. I was pretty tactical about it. I did a lot of survival stuff growing up. I was in a thing called JLTC, which was the Junior Leadership Training Corps, which was a thing between the Scouts and the National Guard. So in my teens, I was actually teaching skills with National Guard members, and it was just always a big deal to me, and it always has been. I still love it.
Well, and your kids love it too now. And
they do.
We both have young families and kids, and for me, and I tell this to people all the time, I make the outdoor life a normal life. I don't think that, I don't always celebrate. I celebrate accomplishments with them.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always have to be this big special occasion. It's just our normal. I make it our new normal.
Yep.
Our normal life, hunting and fishing, and they come with, and and your kids are doing the same types of things. They're camping in the backyard. They're camping when you guys hit the road together.
Yeah. Proud daddy moment. COVID hit. COVID has been awful for our planet, right? For the Sherck family, in many ways, COVID has been amazing. Because a year ago in February, when the kids got kicked out of school and this, virus hit, the Sherck boys took the Seek Outside teepee and the wood stove, and they set up camp back out on the prairie. And last year they had 147 nights.
Wow.
Out. That became their new MO. And they'd camp in a spot for, a few weeks, and then they'd clean it up and they'd
move on.
They'd pile onto the horse and ride Polaris over to another part of the property and set up a camp down here. and somebody said, this is, in our generation, this is our version of the Depression. This is our version of, the plague. We will always remember that. And I am hoping that the Sherck boys have those memories of camping out, right? So making it good on something that doesn't seem so good.
Yeah. You grew up hunting grouse a lot. That's kind of your, maybe not a lot, but that was kind of your bird choice.
I grew up angling. Yeah. Fishing was our family, right? I get blasted. I'm not a duck hunter because as a young guy, I'm colorblind. And as a young guy sitting, in the duck blind with my buddies, wing beats and colors and all that stuff was very difficult for me to see, and I was scared to death to do the wrong thing. So I didn't get into duck hunting. I didn't come from a deer hunting family. My grandfather hunted moose, but we weren't deer hunters.
How do you see a pheasant flush and know for sure you're shooting at a rooster? Do you base it off the tail then?
Yeah, so again, these viewers who chirp, way back in the day, I shoot a little more slower. My process is slower than a lot of people.
You wait for somebody to yell rooster?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Good luck with
Bill, shoot the one on the right.
Good luck with that, right? I have to really watch for the ring around the neck. I can see that. I really see tail feathers. Mm-hmm. I count on the cackle, and you do it long enough, right? You just start to know.
Darker colors when they get up. But do you see that? Do your eyes pick that up?
Sort of, but it depends what the sun's doing and all that, right? When I start sharptail hunting, a lot of Sharpies are in pheasant country. Mm-hmm. So now you have to dictate what's a hen pheasant and what's a sharptail grouse, right? So I had to be uber careful about that. And knock on wood, I'm not going to say it, but I haven't screwed up.
Wow.
Been around a lot of people who have screwed up over the years, but we've been lucky enough. And I like to think that's because I am so careful. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I've passed on birds that I probably should have shot. Young roosters.
Yep.
I have never shot a young rooster because I can't see.
Wow.
I can't see.
When in doubt, do
boys,
not.
You say, I can't see, damn it.
When in doubt, do not pull the trigger because
what's the point?
You can't take it back.
What's the point? I mean, there'll be another bird. So I've passed on a lot of birds, and that's what people like me do.
Yeah, well,
sometimes.
But you've also been on some pretty incredible hunts. You were just on one last week. We're going to get into that in just a moment. But I have a quick message from a couple of the companies that help us to make this show possible.
We sure appreciate it.
Yeah, we sure do. Onyx Hunt is one of them. Besides a bird dog, a shotgun, and a good pair of boots, the Onyx Hunt app is one of the most valuable hunting tools that we take into the field every day. I've been talking about the Onyx Hunt app since we started producing this show, and that's because I use it on every hunt. Their app tells me everything that I need to know about the lands that I want to hunt and the lands that we can all legally hunt. If you've used it yourself, then you know that the Onyx Hunt app shows your location on planet Earth and clearly lays out the land boundaries. It also tells you information about the type of property that you're on, like state-owned land, federal lands, and walk-in access properties. It's ideal for scouting before the hunt and during the hunt to help put together patterns. The app also has new features this year that show you the kind of crops that are in fields, which obviously is a big deal for us upland bird hunters. If you hunt grouse in the north woods, there's a timber cut layer to help you find the ideal habitat. You can even separate young aspens. That's amazing. If you're planning to hunt in North Dakota this year, there's a very important layer that has been added as well. For the first time, landowners in North Dakota can post their property electronically. Onyx Maps have you covered to make sure you don't cross the line on property that has been posted electronically. These are just a few of the tools Onyx Maps give us, and these maps can even be used in areas without cell coverage. From the palm of your hand, Onyx Maps always help you to know where you stand. For generations, bird hunters have hit the fields carrying some form of a vest or game pouch on their back. Sometimes the vest rip, tear, and fall apart. Other times, they are downright uncomfortable. That's why Chief Upland designed a vest that's durable, comfortable, and fits your needs. Their new Upland vest is fully customizable to fit the size and shape of all hunters. Plus, you decide where you want to attach your shell pouches and accessories. Birds can be front-loaded into the game pouch, and they fit nicely in the back without sagging. That's a big deal because the weight disbursement on your back and shoulders won't tire you out on a long hunt in the field, even with a full pouch of birds. The vest itself is extremely lightweight, weighing only 2.56 pounds. The material is built out of Cordura fabric, which is the same waterproof fabric used in tactical military gear. You can confidently hunt with a Chief Upland vest in some of the world's toughest environments. Order your Chief Upland vest now to make sure that you're ready for your next hunt. Push further and hunt longer with a game-changing vest from Chief Upland, built for your pursuit. Bill, you were just in the woods last week. Where were you?
I don't know. I couldn't get a signal. I couldn't make Onyx work. No, I'm just kidding. We actually were up on the North Shore of Minnesota along Lake Superior.
One of your favorite places in the world.
Yep. Wife and I got married up there. It's just always been an important place for our family, but we were up east of town. It was funny because the guys I was hunting with, good grouse hunters, don't pay much attention to woodcock. So Onyx actually helped us be able to identify those low aspen cut wet areas looking at the terrain, right? That's why that mapping makes such a difference. It was like, oh my gosh, yes, I can see that.
Yeah, it separates it. It really, really does make grouse hunting. If you're a rough grouse hunter and you want to know where young aspens are,
yep,
it's at the palm of your hand. It's incredible. You saw, would you say a lot of birds?
I would say, yeah, for what we considered, we saw a lot of birds, right? You get into grouse hunts, and grouse hunts are a nice mix of woodcock and grouse. And if you really pay attention, look at your diary and look at the numbers over the years, it's a mix of birds. I have never...
Brandon's shrugging his shoulders about diary. You keep a diary?
I do. Well, it's not like a little strawberry shortcake little lock. But yeah, if you keep tabs on your hunts and your notes, you see patterns over the years.
Absolutely.
I have never, ever, Travis, been on a grouse hunt in my life that I can remember not flushing a single woodcock. Right?
Over the course of multiple days, you mean? Or just every single day?
We did not flush a woodcock on the trip.
That's surprising, especially, it's late October now, but last week would have been sort of mid to 2/3 through. And that's kind of a typical peak migration.
I would think. We were trying to figure out when the first frost hit, right? Because woodcock, when that first frost hits, they go. And I love that. I want to hunt woodcock after the first flush because those home birds are on the move. If you get to them before the first, they know every nook, every cranny. So when you watch woodcock flush, they go straight out. They're low. They duck between the trees. They're impossible to shoot. But once those birds move and the birds that are migrating come in, they are not familiar with the woods. So you can really see it distinctly in how they flush. Those woodcock go straight up because they have to go up, get out of the trees, figure out where in the world they are, and then they make their move, and they're a lot easier to shoot. But, yes, I expected to see a pile of woodcock. Mm-hmm. Scott Sorensen, who was sort of acting as guide on the trip, he owns the fly shop, fly box in Grand Marais, but he also guides grouse. And he was joking with me like, well, you'll have to show me where the woodcock are. And I thought it was a joke, but...
Because he just doesn't typically see them.
They don't see a lot of woodcock.
So is it just a small sliver? Because I know the North Shore is a grouse hunting paradise, and the woodcock are
so that's
generally pretty common in that area.
That's why we were on the Onyx map, right? Trying to figure out what in the world was going on. Is it a dry thing? But if you look at the flyway, you're along the north end of Lake Superior. Those birds aren't cutting across Lake Superior to get to central Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. They have to fly down that coast, so to speak, that shore of the lake. So I don't know. We're baffled.
2 years ago when I was out on the Beaver Island Archipelago island complex out there, we had just as many woodcock mixed in too, which I was kind of surprised because...
Which is the other side of Superior, right?
Exactly. So, but I think if they continue south, they're not flying across the whole lake the rest of the way like they are on the Minnesota side of Superior.
It was dry. We didn't find a lot of standing water, so those low areas where you expect to see the younger aspen, the alder, with that water, right? For me, that's always been my spot. If you can find that, you're going to find birds, and we just didn't find them. But we didn't find
You didn't find woodcock.
We didn't find a lot of water. We found grouse all over. I'm not going to give away what our secret was on that trip. You're going to have to wait for the episode. But we found a pattern, and sure enough, the birds seemed to stick to that pattern. And it was amazing because...
Was it not what you expected?
No, but grouse hunting, a lot of times, you just find some random birds. You don't get on a pattern with them and figure out and go, well, let's go to the next spot. And if we find A, B, and C, odds are we're going to find a bird. And that's kind of how our hunt went.
Yeah. And
hats off to Scott for being able to recognize that pattern.
You got to give us a little bit of a nugget here because there's a lot of hunting season left. What was something that turned you guys onto the birds? Because I'm with you. I'm always looking for the little details, and it does make a difference. So a lot of grouse hunting season left. What would you suggest somebody looks for?
Now, 10 minutes ago, you said, I'm not going to give away the hunting spot. I tell people to go.
But this could apply anywhere in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan.
We found these low areas on these edges where we kind of expected to find woodcock.
Yeah.
But if you could find any water.
Makes sense.
And you could find the right food source, in this case, a berry on a tree. We were in.
Fair enough. We'll let it be.
I think
you do the math then. Yeah, that does make sense, though, because typically those areas might be too wet for the birds, and they would avoid them. And now that could just be
right. I wouldn't say that is always great grouse habitat. Different edges, different stands. But it just worked out, and it was so much fun.
I've heard from a lot of different grouse hunters this year in Minnesota. Not so much Wisconsin, and maybe I don't have enough feedback from Wisconsin hunters. But
they don't have internet in that state yet.
Oh, yeah, according to one of our coworkers.
So the letters are probably written, and they're in the mail on the stagecoach headed towards Minnesota. Go Packers.
But they've been saying, the Minnesota hunters, Wisconsin hunters can't seem to find them, but Minnesota hunters, ruffed grouse, they've all been pleasantly surprised. Numbers are up. And you would echo that?
Yeah. I'm on a couple of little groups online, and, the number of birds, people love to post their glory shots. It sure seems like there are a lot of grouse in the woods this year. And it was funny because Scott Sorensen had made a comment. He felt like maybe it was a downswing year for the grouse, at least in that area along the north shore of Superior. But
really,
yeah, that's kind of what I responded to him. Huh. We had good numbers. And
what do you consider? I mean, you do a lot of grouse hunting.
So his number is, if we're putting up a grouse a mile of walking, that's a decent day.
And you guys were doing something like one every quarter mile?
Yeah. That in my book.
I call that a good day.
Really good.
And I would echo that too, where I've hunted grouse this year.
Or in your case, one grouse per horse buck.
Those are prairie chickens. Yeah. That's a prairie chicken for every time you get thrown.
Rumor is horses go in the woods too.
Oh my gosh, that would be miserable.
What was amazing about the hunt though, Travis, and I've never done this before, there is a famous trail in that part of Minnesota called the Superior Hiking Trail, which runs roughly from the Canadian border down to the city of Duluth. And you access the property we were hunting a lot of times by the Superior Hiking Trail. And the way the rules are written, and it's marked. I've been on the Superior Hiking Trail for decades, and I've never paid attention and just never seen it, but it is marked what is private property, no hunting. And as soon as you get to a portion of the trail that says hunting allowed, national forest, state wildlife area, it's marked. I just had never paid attention. So the cabin we stayed in, Scott Sorensen and his buddy Paul Veith, who's a hockey buddy of mine, long ago they helped Paul's dad build a cabin on a piece of property back in the woods there. So they have this really cool tie to this cabin, which is not a hunting shack. It is the Steelhead headquarters for spring. They come in weekend after weekend. They just go chase the rivers and chase the steelhead when they're in. Paul has never thought of that cabin as being a hunting shack for birds. But the Superior Hiking Trail is 50 yards out behind.
Jeez.
So we walk back out. We walk down the trail. We hit the legal hunting land, of which we could be hunting on Paul's property, but we just whatever, didn't. We went to the trail, hiked 5 minutes. Here we are, and we're putting birds up. And I'm looking at Paul like, really? You didn't think about doing this ever? And he just kind of chuckles. A fun little quirk to the story. Paul, again, we play hockey together in the Old Man League. He tore his rotator cuff years ago. Didn't know it. It's been
He's
flagged.
a hip shooter?
He might have done better as a hip shooter. But he finally had surgery earlier this year, and he has been down the entire year. And this hunt was going to the doctor, doing the PT every day, every week. Can I shoot? Can I shoot? And they said, it's not a good idea. And he was sold that he would shoot on this trip. So he's a righty who decided to try shooting lefty. I challenge you to try that sometime. Not on sporting clays, not on trap, not on, tin cans in the woods. Try it on birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a heck of
I would
an
try it on
episode.
a rough grouse, because if I put one tiny little BB in it, I know it's going down.
Grouse
but I
are a
wouldn't
lot
want to hurt another
hardier
bird.
than a woodcock, right? Or a
I think grouse are
Hungarian.
weaker. I think of all the birds that I've shot, I feel like if you get close to a rough grouse, he's yours. You don't even necessarily have
What are
to
you
hit
shooting
him
them in the trees? Because our flushes last week. I will say that's another thing that baffled me about the trip last week. It was the classic.
Were they dumb again?
They were dumb again.
What?
Where they would flush 6
go-
feet up into the branch and just
Look at you?
sit there looking out of the side of the head with a big eye like, oh, there's something I've never seen before. Whoa, that's an
my
interesting man.
goodness.
What a
Everyone right
beast.
now is like, I want to know where he was hunting.
Right.
They're doing a little Google search right now.
You don't find birds like that all the time in Minnesota.
No, you do in Canada.
So
Eh?
it was, there's something, speaking of Idaho quail, there's something called the Idaho flush. Do you know what the Idaho flush is all about?
Would that be Huns?
So we learned, oh, no. Oh,
No?
good.
Okay.
I actually get to teach you something today. So in Idaho, these quail would lock up in the alders.
Yeah.
You'd have a hillside just so thick, dogs can't even get into it. But there would be 1,000 birds in there. So in Idaho, they throw a stick down on one end of the cover, and it starts birds moving.
Come on.
It's called the Idaho flush. So we had to use the Idaho flush on a couple of these grouse, right? They'd be sitting there looking at you, and it's funny. You cross the border into Ontario, and people think very differently about grouse.
Partridge.
Yes. Yes. They will take a 22 and plink those birds out of the trees.
Yeah.
Or on the ground. And people go, oh, that's not sporting. And I had an old friend of mine, Julie Mawagami. I want to make sure I say her name right. But Julie would say, not sporting? Wait, I just went 5 for 5 on grouse in their head. A clean, quick kill, and we have a wonderful meal for dinner. How sporting is taking a pot shot at a bird that happens to be dodging you flying off in the woods, right? So it's all in how you look at it.
Yeah. True.
Right? But
True. Yeah.
But no, we're not going to shoot birds out of trees or on the ground. That's just not how I choose to do it. But the Idaho flush can help at times.
Back to North Shore.
Yep.
You mentioned the steelhead angle there.
Yep.
Did those guys ever take any of the feathers out of the fan of a rough grouse and tie flies with them?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
I have some friends that every time my hunting season rolls around, they say, "Hey, if you get any red phase, grouse. Can you save the tail feathers for me? And they want to tie flies with them.
That is why Hungarian partridge in this world are so coveted, because the capes off those birds, fly tires more than any other bird want those. Pheasant tail feathers, right? The most popular fly in fly fishing nymph underwater is called a PT nymph, which stands for pheasant tail nymph. And I've tied hundreds and hundreds of over the years, and they mimic a nymph stage mayfly. And when you're able to do that and come full circle, it's a little bit like harvesting your own food, but you take it one step further. Now you're able to take a bird you have harvested, appreciate it,
eat it,
have dinner, then take
the fly,
those feathers,
the feathers,
put them away, and 6 months later you go, oh, I remember this bird. Yeah, I'm going to tie up
on a cold February day down in the basement. Bill's
you whip them.
flies.
It's funny because when COVID hit us, right, we were working from home. And writers have this thing called writer's block. It's why the world invented whiskey, right? But my fly tying bench is opposite of my writing desk. So when I get to those moments where I'm like, the stupid sentence, why can't I spit it out? I call a timeout. I swivel my chair around. I click the light on the tying bench, and I whip out 3 flies in 10 or 15 minutes, and I turn around and go back to writing. It seems to be there. But I was able to refill all my boxes that literally I haven't, Travis, in
That's cool.
15 years been able to do, because
when I get writer's block, I'm like, oh gosh, and I get my dog, I throw her in the kennel, I load up, and I drive to North Dakota for 7 days, and I go on.
I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong.
I'd say, sorry, Scott, I just couldn't write. I needed to get some perspective. I got to go.
Yep. Now I know why I send you those emails. Travis, where's that script? It airs tomorrow. Sorry, bud. I'm in North Dakota. See you next week.
Writer's block. I'm in North Dakota.
But yeah, to have that come full circle and then catch a fish, especially a fish of a lifetime on one of those flies you tied, is pretty cool.
That's really cool. I've hunted with a few guys that do that as well. And I don't want to give away all of your stories, so I'm going to let it be at that. But you guys, there's a fishing angle, there's a dog angle that you kind of almost have to see to believe. We'll just call him
and there's
Seven Lives Ike.
Yeah, Seven Lives Ike, the dog that just refuses to die. Ike
let it be on that.
Everyone's got a favorite dog.
Yeah.
Ike is my favorite dog.
Really?
Yeah, he's that special dog for me. And there's also a Delica angle. Engineer Brandon, any idea what a Delica is? Travis?
Nope, we're shaking our heads.
Yeah, no, this trumps any knife on the planet. So Scott is so cool, and just the stuff, the little trinkets he's got. And he always wanted a Delica. It is
I know what it is. It
is a 4-wheel drive off-road minivan that was made by Mitsubishi a couple decades ago. I don't think they were actually sold in the United States.
How did he get it here?
Hey, just drive on up to Thunder Bay and see. Ooh. So he found this thing across the border.
Sweet.
And it is I might have the model wrong here. It's not a Delica Exceed level. It is a Super Exceed. So this dang hunting truck has the spotlights. It's got a sandwich warmer in it. Like, not that Scott put in. This was part of how Mitsubishi
Ice Maker
brainstormed these vehicles that people could live out of. It's got karaoke in it. It's got a sandwich warmer, ice maker. It's got all this crazy stuff.
Because you need a karaoke machine if you're going to live in it. Naturally.
Duh.
Yeah, duh.
And it is just, he pulled up the first morning. I decided to not tell Aaron Ochtenberg, our director of photography, who was shooting the piece, about the Delica, because I knew he would have a connection to this thing. And it pulls down into the woods, and Aaron's looking at me like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, that's the flush. That's why we document. It's that stuff that is so magical.
We did a cribs last year on an ambulance. The guy called it the ambulance.
Yes.
And he pimped it out. He took an old ambulance and gutted it and then made it his bird hunting rig. Yeah. And we kind of did a MTV cribs style segment on it. So I'm
Brandon sitting next to us here, like Googling online.
You looking at it right now?
His voice
it's pretty cool, isn't it?
His voice is all squeaky all of a sudden. Oh my gosh. Yep.
Yeah, you need to put your mic on so you can join this conversation.
So yeah, if you ever get a chance to hunt out of a Delica, specifically Scott Sorensen's,
All right.
you're living.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to. Well, I'm looking forward to watching that show. That sounds pretty cool. You've got, there's the snipe hunt.
Yep.
A lot of people have made jokes about the snipe hunt, but there's a real snipe hunt that's out there, and you're going on it. You're getting back to your Monster Quest days here.
Yeah, no, right. Like, I never fell for that crap in Scouts. Get your bag and your spotlight and a stick and go into the woods and call for it. Sorry, I could see through that BS. But yes, there is a bird. Well, think about a woodcock. Mm-hmm. A woodcock was a shorebird. Right? The old joke is they got lost and ended up in the woods and never went home, right? Snipe are another version of that sort of kind of bird. But down in places like Florida, they don't do fish fries at lunch like we do with our walleyes and crappies.
Not a shore lunch.
Or shore lunch, excuse me. They do snipe.
Snipe fries?
Snipe fries. So I am lucky enough to go see a couple of old friends down there on one of the rivers. We take airboats. You park. There are no dogs as part of these hunts, but you're hunting these vast, flat
Is
water.
Is it a tide thing?
Wasteland. I'm not a snipe pro yet. I don't know, but I imagine that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
You need snake boots or knee-high rubber boots, and you start walking and you put up snipe. And it's great shooting. It is great table fare. And all I have been told is it is such a wonderful,
cool experience.
wonderful way to hunt.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you throw an airboat in and it automatically piques the interest. Years and years ago, I have a funny airboat story, as long as we're telling old stories here. We did an alligator hunt down there. We're filming with these guys down in the bayou, and we're on an airboat. And then, so the airboat, they're telling us about how we can't make any noise. You can't make it's worse than deer hunting. They're going to scare them away.
Airboat. How did you
hear them? And then they
them?
start up the airboat, and it's a jet engine, and everything in the county knows we're there.
Yes.
And then we get to the spot, and he turns it off.
I think they call them parishes in that part of the world.
Yes. Well, so we get to the spot, and we had just driven an airboat, and he wanted to do like hot laps with the thing. So not only do we have a jet motor that just came in, and he sets it down in these reeds, and the cameraman goes to adjust the tripod, and the tripod goes, "Ee?" And he looks over like, what are you doing? You just ruined the hunt.
Oh, you ain't from around these parts.
And I'm thinking, are you? Do they not hear airboats down there? Did they not hear the loudest thing in this entire county?
They're like trains. You live around them long enough, you don't hear them anymore.
Yeah, and then they turned on the alligator call, and I was like, meh, meh. But I laughed so hard at it because they were the whole time about, oh, we got to be so quiet. We can't scare them. And then here goes this airboat flying through.
I am so excited because I get to go see a couple of old friends of mine. Todd Fuller, who is the one who pitched that. Todd and I met because he and his family owned the North Park Fishing Club. I hope I have the name of that right. Over in Michigan. We used to go over there to grouse hunt, woodcock hunt, and fish brook trout. It is an amazing place. Todd ended up, going down to Florida and just fell in love with the landscape and the fishing scene. And yeah, he's hunting snipe. And he also says, hey, one of your old buddies is going to come along with us. Flip Pallett.
Nice.
Who is one of my fly fishing mentors. He is one of the most prominent storytellers, television storytellers on the planet. I'm like, Flip Pallett's going to be there? Like, I get to see Flipper? So it's going to be amazing to just walk the bayou, I guess you call it, with those guys. But I'm looking forward to it.
Very cool.
The only problem is I have to go in January.
Oh, heartbreak. Wow, you're really taking one for the team. What a guy. What a guy.
I sound like
so selfless.
I sound like Cheryl when I talk that way. You go ice fishing, I'm going to Belize.
Right.
But it just happens to be that's the time of year where they hunt them.
Yeah.
They said it is a vastly underutilized resource, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Very cool.
And they said they fly a lot like a dove. Doves have this radar in them, right? When you pop at them,
Yes, they do.
They know to dodge left. They're like the Barry Sanders of the sky. They just have these juke moves,
Right.
and apparently snipe do a little of the same. So I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. Well, a couple of really cool episodes. I'm pretty sure people are going to enjoy them. Just the thing that we've always tried to do is find something unique, something different. Go on a real adventure. There's so many out there. Last question: any hunts you're really excited about for the future that you haven't done yet?
Oh man. Well, I always wanted to really get a good ptarmigan hunt in until I heard about
Mine? I got one for you.
I do.
Himalayan snowcock.
You're on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to climb the Himalayas. You get on that. My buddy Jerry Haverhill, Pine Ridge Grouse Camp up in central Minnesota, they're doing something with dogs down in Argentina.
Okay.
And there is a population of birds down there that is ignored. And I can't tell you what the name of the bird is.
It's not Perdiz, is it?
Maybe. But they were introduced like 50 years ago and just took to the habitat, kind of like Chinese ringneck pheasants did in the United States. And they just have taken over and people don't hunt them. And Jerry said it is a unbelievable hunting day. And then you go fish, 30-inch browns and rainbows on a fly rod right next door. And so I've always
Sounds
wanted,
like one of those trips where you're going to need a second host.
yeah,
to
I'm pretty
join
sure I'll
you.
get trumped on that. Next story me, it's going to be like, oh, I'm going down there.
So I talked to Jerry, and
Man,
we
what a
got
nice
it set
guy.
up for next December.
But, we also, there's a business side to what we do, right? We don't just get a free budget to just go anywhere. We have to work through this stuff. So that's the sort of trip I don't know if I'll ever be able to take because it takes a lot of money and resources to get down there. So
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know, but I'd sure love to. And honestly, I'm looking forward to my next hunt down in Pipestone County or Jackson County, Minnesota, right?
Take the boys out.
This is where we are. This is where we live. And the bird hunting here is just as profound in a different way.
Yep.
It's all about the memories we make. So you don't necessarily have to go to the top of a mountain or the bottom of South America to,
Just go.
you can make big memories darn near in your backyard.
There you go. Well said, Bill. Appreciate you taking the time to join us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're going to have to do it again when you get back from your snipe hunt to tell people that there really is such a thing as a snipe hunt.
I'm going to get a tattoo of a little paper bag and a stick and a headlamp.
Oh, well, in the meantime, if you're looking for another, let's say, hunting-related podcast, you might want to check out one that we produce in our list of podcasts called It's Federal Season. On the latest podcast, Federal Ambassador Vincent Hancock was their guest, and he just made history in Tokyo by winning his third gold medal in the men's skeet competition. The questions are, how did he do it, and was that his last Olympics? We reveal the answers, or I should say they revealed the answers during that episode of It's Federal Season podcast. That show is titled Three-Timer. And I'm also going to be having Brian Kelvington from Federal on this podcast next week. I've heard from so many viewers and listeners about ammunition over the last couple of years. So I think you're going to want to join us next week for that podcast. Ammunition is certainly a topic of conversation in this world that we're in. Bill?
Will you do me one favor and ask Kelvington about the day he outshot me in South Dakota?
I'll do it.
That rascal.
Yep. All right. That does it for this week. You now know what you're going to be hearing next week, so we hope you'll join us then. Once again, thank you for joining us today. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Flush Podcast. I'm Travis Frank, reminding you to take the time to introduce someone new to the field.